The marketing for Marty Supreme is insane. But the real question is the movie actually any good? Friday, the day after Christmas, I went to go see Marty Supreme. I wasn't able to go Christmas Day, but there was no way that I was going to miss this movie. The marketing has been wild, and it's been really catching my eye. The trailers looked fantastic, so there was no way I was going to miss this movie. Marty Supreme is directed by Josh Safdie, starring Timothy Chalamet, Odessa Isaiah, Gwyneth Paltrow, Tyler the Creator, and Kevin O'Leary. This movie is intense, suspenseful, comedic, and overall just fantastic. The acting is some of the best acting this year. Timothy gives his best performance, I think, in his career so far. The character of Marty is really magnetic, and all of the other side characters are very well written. If you enjoy the suspense of Good Time and Uncut Gems, just imagine that mixed into one movie, and I really think you would enjoy this movie. In my opinion, I think Marty Supreme is one of the best Josh Safdie or Safdie films of their career, or of his career since they have split, but I just think this movie is fantastic. I was engaged start to finish. It had me on the edge of my seat, and I just think that how also they use sound in this movie is really, really cool. A lot of the soundtrack makes you feel that suspense, and it almost makes you kind of start to stress out a little bit. It would be the most calm scene, and there'll be some crazy music playing in the background, and you're just feeling it. You're thinking something's gonna happen, and then out of nowhere, 2 seconds later, boom, it happens. I just think this movie's fantastic overall. I really do think this is my favorite movie of 2025, and I really recommend you go check this out in theaters. I want to start off with the cast. I think originally when I saw this cast, I was kind of skeptical about this because I love Timothy Chalamet. I've never really heard of Odessa Isaiah, but I heard she was amazing in, I think the show's called I Love LA. But I never really heard of her. I never watched a project she was in, so I didn't really know too much of her. Gwyneth is really, really good in this film. I haven't really watched too much of her films either. I have watched, of course, all of the MCU films she's in, but nothing outside of that world I have seen. But just in this movie, I think she gives one of the best performances, and she really is really, really good, and you buy her character just because of her performance. Kevin O'Leary is someone who I didn't expect to give a really, really good performance. I know he's a very hated individual, and I kind of understand it, but I just think his performance in this film is a perfect performance, and I just think he plays this role so well, and I bought it as well too. He just plays this role so well, and I wasn't expecting that out of him. A lot of the time, someone like Tyler the Creator is also in here. I wasn't expecting of him either. I really wasn't expecting the greatest performance or a really good performance from Tyler the Creator, because when there is someone who isn't an actor, I always think they're going to give some mediocre or bad performance, but I just think these two really stood out, and they did an amazing job. It's a film that I definitely would rewatch, and honestly, even if this film was bad, I just think the performances would carry it. Timothy Chalamet. I want to talk about Timothy Chalamet. I know he has been running for that Oscar. I know he has said some stuff where people were kind of pissed off because it might sound like he's, arrogant, which was a word that he was described as, which I don't think so. I think it's okay to be proud of yourself, and I think it's okay to chase after something. I mean, the movie's kind of theme or topic is to dream big, and I really do think that's what Timmy's doing in real life. He's dreaming big, and he's chasing after those goals. But this performance is, I think, the performance that's going to give him that Oscar, and I think he deserves it. There's been a lot of great performances this year. Michael B. Jordan in Sinners playing those twins was fantastic. Leonardo DiCaprio in One Battle After Another was fantastic. He gives probably one of the best performances of the year, or definitely one of the best performances of the year. And I also think one of my personal favorite performances of his too. But I do think that Timothy Chalamet is just gonna steal it. How he plays this role, it's just, you buy it. And I think a lot of people are going to see this and just be like, oh my god, he is fantastic. Even if you don't like Timothy Chalamet, you're going to like this performance of his. I am not gonna lie, I did switch up on Timothy Chalamet. Originally, I really didn't like him. I think it was 2020 or even before 2020. I never really liked Timothée Chalamet. I don't know what it was, and I even skipped on watching Dune 1 because I didn't like Timothée Chalamet, and then I watched it in 2024, changed my whole opinion on him, and not just that performance. I think my favorite performance of his before Marty Supreme was Beautiful Boy. I think he is fantastic in Beautiful Boy, and that's the film that really made me change my opinion of him as an actor. This film solidifies that he's going to be one of the greats. He is definitely one of the greats of our generation, of this current generation. I want to talk about the story overall because I do think there is a very strong story and a very strong message with the story. Before we do talk about the story though, I do want to talk about Uncut Gems for a while because I had a big problem with Uncut Gems that made that movie like a 4 out of 5 because of just one big problem, and that's really the story. I think the story in Uncut Gems was very hard for me to follow, and I just think overall there was no story. I haven't rewatched it since, but I am planning a rewatch since I've seen Marty Supreme, but I just think the story in Uncut Gems isn't there. But for this movie, it's completely different. The story is there. The story is strong. It has you invested. First 30 minutes feels like a normal sports film. First 30 minutes of this film feel completely different from the next half hour or 2 hours of the film. I just think that complete switch that happens in this film is fantastic. The story is there. The story of Marty Mauser is there. The story of dreaming big is there. You're just watching this guy and he's dreaming big, but he's going through these obstacles and he's making these bad decisions after bad decisions. And there is parts of the story where I don't really like Marty Mauser. And I think that's good. I think what the Safdies do is the main characters of their film, they really make you hate them. I don't really know about Adam Sandler's character in Uncut Gems. I think he's pretty much a likable character, but he is sort of annoying. But someone like Connie in Good Time, you hate Connie. Connie's a weirdo. Connie's a sicko. He makes us hate Connie. The Safdies do a great job at that, and I think Josh Safdie did a great job with that in this movie. You really don't like Marty at some points, and I really do like that. There's nothing that justifies that, but I really think the story of dreaming big but also going through obstacles might knock you down or might knock you out for a little bit. You overcome those obstacles and you still achieve that one big dream. Does that happen in this movie? I don't know. You have to go see it for yourself. The story overall has me engaged and is fantastic. Soundtrack. I really want to talk about the soundtrack. I think whoever chose the music or the soundtrack for this film deserves an Oscar because the soundtrack for this film is fantastic. One thing I really liked about Good Time was the soundtrack and how the soundtrack was used, how it made a scene feel more suspenseful. And I think in this film, it does an amazing job because certain scenes, when they use the soundtrack, it makes it feel very suspenseful. There's a scene, or a sequence I should say, in Good Time, and it's the amusement park sequence. The music in that scene, I feel like makes it way more suspenseful for me, especially in this movie. I think the music just adds that suspense to it and it adds it to another level. It turns it up all the way 100%, and that's why I think this film is so intense and so suspenseful, because of the music. There are a lot of funny jokes in this film, and I wasn't expecting for it to be a little comedic. There are a lot of funny jokes in this film, and they all really land, and they're not really corny or cringe at all. I also think in the film, or even throughout the film, you feel different amount of emotions, and I love that so much. Josh Safdie is amazing, and I love his work. I love the Safdie brothers' work. I love The Smashing Machine. I thought that movie was fantastic, but I do think Josh Safdie has the better sauce, and I think he just cooked with Marty Supreme. If I had to give this movie a rating out of 5, I give it 5. I think it's just fantastic. I think this is one of those movies that you just have to watch in theaters. Get that theater experience. Let's go to theaters. Let's support our theaters, because there's no experience like the theater experience. Well, Well guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys liked Marty Supreme if you have saw it. And if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's fantastic. Other than that, if you guys aren't subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you never ever miss a post. If you guys want to follow my other socials, they are linked in my bio. If you guys want to follow my Letterboxd, it's also linked in my bio. I'll follow you guys back. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, subscribe if you aren't subscribed. Hit the notification bell. I'll see you guys around. Peace.